All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Holiday, and I'm sure you guys got it's a beautiful day out there and some other things to do. So I appreciate you coming out and covering us. I'm excited that it's finally game week and we're finally here, and it's seems like it's been a while. Not especially not being able to play the first week. We had to sit back and watch everybody play really for 2 weekends. So our guys are ready to play. It's the first time that really all college football has had a 5-week training camp. So it's been a little different, but been good. I feel like our team's in a good spot and is healthy, and we've been able to give them some days off. And even last night, I think it's the most bounce in their step I've seen in a week and a half or two. Just giving them a few days off, and they're ready to go and have another day off today, and then we'll hit our stride tomorrow for game week. So we're excited that it's here, and I'm really just excited to watch our team play. Just you go through practice, spring ball, summer, and you recruit all these new guys, and then as a head coach, it's fun for game day to watch them go out there and play. And I'm excited for Saturday for that. I'll give you a little update on injuries, and I'm sure some of you guys will have some questions. There's no update on Roman Tatum from the beginning of the year. He's battling, and we'll see where he's at, but realistic possibility that he'll be out for the season. Landon Lenore had surgery less than a week ago, about 4 days ago. So right now it's probably 6 to 8 weeks with him, and then we'll see where we're at in the season and how he progresses. But feel bad for Landon because he was having he's one of our top targets, and he's a young kid that has a bright future, and he still does, and he'll keep battling, and he'll be better for it when he comes back. And then Ernest Dye got injured a little over a week ago. Will probably be out for this game, be out for 2 to 3 weeks, but we'll definitely be getting him back pretty soon. And then Josh Podjolinski, another offensive lineman, went down with a hamstring about 10 days ago, and will be probable for this game. So he'll be back in practice tomorrow, and then we'll see where he's at. He'll be dressed for the game, but that's the way it goes. And so we've got some young kids that'll get an opportunity to take their place and get some more reps in this game. So we're excited about that as well. So with that, Mississippi Valley, have a ton of respect for their head coach. I mean, whenever you look as a young head coach and you see a guy that has 156 wins, for me standing here have 4. So he obviously knows what he's doing. He's won a ton of football games. They're going to keep getting better throughout the season. He's won championships. So we all know what it's like to go up to Fargo and play in that environment, and it can get away from you pretty quickly. He's not the only person that's went up there and struggled with good football teams. So we got to concentrate on us. We haven't played a game yet. They have. They've been able to make those corrections, and you see a lot of improvement from game 1 to game 2. And that's what we're expecting a football team to come in here and play better than they did in week 1. We got to control what we can control, and I'm more worried about what we do and how we play than anything else. But they will have some talented football players, and we're expected, to go out and play a good football game. So we're excited about that, and just can't wait to get going. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Who will start Lenore's spot this Saturday?
We really don't ever even I guess somebody goes out there and starts the game at wide receiver, but we don't have starters really. Connor Awima and Ralph, and we've got like 6 or 7 guys. At the beginning of the year, we thought, hey, it's going to be tough to make the bus with this group. Landon was one of those that we'd be counting on. Darrell James has played a ton of football. Jimmy Jones is back. So we've got some guys that'll step in and play, and then we've got a couple of young guys that we'll see how they progress, whether we're going to put them out there at the beginning of the year or not. But so we feel good with our depth at wide receiver. That's one position that we felt like we could probably take an injury at, just because we have some pretty good talented depth.
Landon was a pretty good blocker. Do you feel like you lose something there, or do you feel like you have some guys that can step in?
Yeah, that's a collective group. we've prided ourselves on being a blocking team. Landon's came a long way, but he's watched a group in front of him last year. It took him 6 or 7 games to be able to get on the field because that wasn't his strong point. Because, really Connor and Jimmy and Darrell are probably our top 3 blockers. So we'll be good in that. That's something we do every single day here. And so you really don't get on the field at the wide receiver position unless you make that a point of emphasis and are able to block.
Can you talk about the offensive line? Who is going to start?
Yeah, so right now, with those 2 injuries, Marnin will move over to guard. Jack White will start at center. And then Matt Chmielewski will play guard, and Aaron Harris will. So you'll probably see 7 or 8 guys play on the offensive line in week 1, which is a good thing. So we've got to build some depth, and then when we get those guys back and see where Podge is at, will be huge as far as the who's out there and what combinations we play with. But we're still playing around with that still.
Speaking about blocking, I'm blocking on your outside linebacker's name, number 9. Could you,
Whitney?
Yeah. Could you tell us how he's done this year? It seems like he's always around time.
Yeah.
The guy is active.
I think he wears 42 in the game, but he wears 9 in practice. But yeah, Whitney Simon, he's came here. He's a guy that he hasn't redshirted. He came here as a true freshman, and he kind of was like that in training camp as a true freshman 3 camps ago. Just a guy that's always finds the ball and plays hard and is able to play on special teams. And last year he started the season, and then Aaron Reed kind of moved into that position, and Whitney just bounces around. And all of us are gonna come down to what kind of depth we have. So
Actually, I wasn't thinking of Whitney Simon. I was thinking of number 9, the other outside linebacker that's been on the number 1 unit. I don't think Simon has he been on the number 1?
Aaron
unit?
Reed's number 3. He's
Aaron
out
Reed,
there.
that's
Yeah, Aaron Reed, number 3. Yeah, I mean Aaron Reed, I think is a top level talent, no matter what conference or whatever you play in. I mean, he's as athletic as anybody that you'll find when you're recruiting a player, and then he has the size to do that. So he allows you. He came here as a safety, and then we moved him to outside linebacker, and that's really how we play that position. You got to be able to play some man-to-man. You're going to get caught in some coverages, depending on playing some cover 1, and then he brings some he can rush the passer, and we'll use him in those situations as well, where he can he's got the ability to find the quarterback and get him down. So he's come a long way from where he was at. A lot of these guys were just babies in this defense last year, finding their way, figuring things out, and Aaron was one of those guys. Really, you saw his snap counts go way up at the end of the last season, and he was playing at a really high level. And then now he's had an off season, he's had a spring, he's had a summer, and you'd like to see him keep on that pace to keep getting better, and that's what he's done all camp. Now it's like the rest of our team, we've got to go out there and do it.
Well, the defense, it just just from seeing some of the scrimmages and practices, they look a lot better from what they looked like at this point last year. Do you think it's because these guys have another year under their belt?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's with anything you do. I've talked about that a lot throughout training camp, is just the more you do anything, the better you're going to get at it. And it's the same as playing sports. The experience is huge, and there's no way to get experience besides rolling out there and learning from your mistakes and getting thrown in the fire. And college football moves fast, and those guys have got a lot of reps now. And so when you hear the same terminology over and over and over again, and now it's year 2, and it's the game's made up of so many situations. Now your year 2, you've seen those situations, you've seen down and distances and what teams are trying to do to you, and so the game just slows down for you the more you play it. And hopefully it does that for a lot of the defense that were out there that were first-year players, and we're still going to have a lot of young players. It's not like you get it figured out and master it in year 2 either. You're still just a sophomore and still a first or second-year player, so we'll still have some of those growing pains, and we know that. But the game is full of just how you're going to adjust and adapt to things, whether it's in practice or a game, and that's what I like most about this team, is just their overall attitude of expecting sudden change and being able to adjust and stay together and try to figure it out together.
What excites you the most about the defenses?
I think just they're athletic. Really, if you look at, I'm excited just starting with the defensive line. We're going to be really young. I mean, probably the youngest defensive line in the country. There'll be times there's 4 freshmen out there at one time together, whether it's redshirt freshmen or true freshmen. And then the other ones are second-year players. You know, Blake Parzic and Malik Haynes didn't redshirt last year, but they're the same age of those guys that'll go out there as redshirt freshmen. And still didn't get to play a ton last year, but played quite a bit, so they're a little bit ahead. But we're mainly made up of first and second-year players on the defensive line, but there's some players that are going to be, you know, names that Salukis fans know for a long time around here. They really are. And so I'm excited about seeing them go out there and make some plays and have some fun on Saturday. And then, you know, in the second level at linebacker, Cody Kreider has made plays around here last year as a redshirt freshman. I think it was in the 60s in tackles, and just probably as athletic of a linebacker as you'll find him. He can really run. And then Kyron Watson's a leader on our team. He really brings the energy, and our team kind of feeds off of Kyron, not just on defense, but really our entire team feeds off of Kyron. And you see Chase Allen just made the 53-man roster, so what kind of talent is at that position? And Kyron and Chase really split reps last year, you know, series for series. And so we've got Kyron back, and Marquise Jackson is a guy this is his 3rd year that will be playing starter reps, that really can play all of our positions, which is very valuable for that 4th guy. He can play, you know, Mike and Will for us, so he can really, and you've got to be really smart at that. If you can just play one position, then if another guy goes down, maybe you're the best player, but you just don't mentally know it. And Marquise can play multiple positions, which is nice. And then we talked about Aaron being the same linebacker. And so we feel like we have 5 or 6 guys that can play at the linebacker position.
What is the status of Mixon now? Is he still battling an injury?
No, Mixon looked really good the last few days out there at practice. He was full go last night and is moving around really well, and he'll be full participant all week. And unless there's any setback, he'll be cleared and full go for Saturday.
What kind of role do you see him? I mean, is he kind of a change-up with Daquan and DJ, or is he a strictly short yardage back?
No, he definitely won't just be a short yardage back. You'll see him get his series where he goes in there, and I guess you could say a change of pace. Just those guys, you know, really at tailback, you want to see a guy get in a rhythm and be able to stack those carries, because it's you know, one of those positions where you got to get a feel, and you've got to get hit, and you got to get kind of lathered up a little bit to get going. The best ones do. So it's not like he's going to get 5 and he's going to get 7, he's going to get 5. We don't have any like carries set, but Mix will get in there. You saw him close out a few games for us, and that's where we'd like to get. Obviously, every team in the country would be, where you've got a lead in the 4th quarter and you need a big bell cow to take it home, and Mix can kind of do that.
What does Isom's presence do for your offense?
It's big for us. He's a guy that has proven that he can really score from anywhere on the field. He gives you an explosive back there that can take it the distance. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. I don't know how many career catches he has, but he catches the ball well, and you can use him in the screen game. But really, and I tell people this all the time, physically he's in the best shape he's ever been in. You know, whenever he was a freshman, he carried the ball really towards the end of the season at under 170 pounds. He was really like 166, 167 pounds, and now he weighs in the 190s. So we're talking about 25, 30 pounds of muscle, and he still to this day is our strongest running back, even with Mixon and all those. If you get him in the weight room, he's an explosive kid. So he's strong, and that's the thing. He's not a huge back, but now getting him in the 190-pound range, you know, hopefully he's that guy that can carry the ball into the 20 carries in a game.
They play 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks, Dick, but the lefty freshman can run. And just what were your impressions of those guys?
Yeah, they played a few guys. Really, the first guy, number 3, is a guy that I had seen play in junior college a little bit, and then he ended up signing down there. He's the one who got the start, and it's hard to judge a quarterback when they're playing off their back foot. It was you go and you play at number one, you play in the dome. You can't hear. It's hard to replicate that in training camp. So they're going off a silent count. You can tell that the entire game just with the way that they were snapping the ball. So you're already behind the eight ball. I mean, not many people have went in there and won and looked successful and really moved the football in the last however many years. And so it wasn't a great game to be able to judge those quarterbacks, especially as a freshman in your first action, and you've got to go up there against maybe one of the best defensive lines in college football at our level. So they had a lot of heat on them. It's not like they had a lot of time to be looking down the field, but they all showed they're college quarterbacks for a reason, and that's the way that we'll prepare for them. And then they do, the lefty has able to really, the second two guys that came in, I thought Seven, who came in third, really runs the football well too, and I think that he was able to do a couple things. So, we look for him to have a package of that for all of them. We really got to be ready for anything.
And they kind of play like a 4-4 sometimes with one free safety. Is that, how do you test that with your passing game? When you only got one
Yeah,
defensive back or
really nothing changes for us offensively this game or next game. We're going to watch the film and we want to have an answer for whatever they do. We went back and we've watched every game that they played last year, and then we've got a game that they played this season, which North Dakota State's a little bit different than us on offense, so we might see it a little bit. But they do, like to bring guys down in the box and stop the run. So it's just like anything. If they put too many guys in there, then you got to be able to throw the football. And if they back out and you're throwing them, then you got to be able to run the ball. And we can't make things too complicated. Sometimes I think that we make the game too complicated, and we can't do that. If it's not a good box to run, if they have more guys in there than we have to block them, then we better start throwing it. But hopefully we can hit them on a couple throws to loosen them up, and so we can run the football.
When you look at Straub and camp, you mentioned this first time you had a returning guy.
Mm-hmm.
What have you noticed from him as you head into the opener?
I think just a confidence about him. We meet quite a bit, just me and him. He just comes in the office and we sit down and just talk, and really him just knowing that we have the confidence in him, that it's not about, I don't care if you complete 6 balls out there, or 10 or 20. Nobody's going to be looking at the stat sheet and seeing what Straub's stats are. He's got to play winning football, and I can see that in him. I think that the confidence of him knowing he doesn't have anything out there to prove. Doesn't matter if he, I don't want him to feel like it's going into the second, third quarter and, man, I haven't made a big play. Well, you just got to, sometimes the biggest play is throw it into the third row, and we got to punt, and then we stayed away from a bad turnover and giving teams chances. And so that's what I've seen him able to do. Now that you're the guy, you can really start to do that. When you're in a competition, no matter if we're sitting here preaching that same thing to 2 guys or 3 guys, you still have that natural tendency to want to press a little bit, and like, I have to do something here to separate myself, so I got to make this big throw down the field, or I got to take a shot here when the guy underneath is open, but I got to show him that I haven't. So I haven't seen that in him. He's just taking what the defense gives him. Coach Van Dam does a great job with the quarterbacks and just them understanding our entire offense. I think we trust Sam. And I told him that in the game. He's big in the game plan, and he's going to be big on the sidelines on Saturdays. Hey, what are you seeing out there? He knows our offense. Giving him maybe a little bit more than we have the last couple years, and just getting us into right plays at the line of scrimmage. So I'm happy where Sam's at, and I'm excited to see him go out there and play.
You mentioned Jimmy Jones, and when this guy's walking on the field, he's a factor. What have you seen from him heading into the season as well?
And he's still getting healthy. That's an injury that it's tough to come back from. And you see him. We limit his reps every day. He hasn't been just a full participant. He gets out there because he's a competitor. Really, he's snuck in a couple times when he's not supposed to. But he is a difference maker when he's out there, because he can run, and speed kills in this game, and he can run by you, and he can make you miss when he gets the ball. So he can do a little bit of everything, and he's always proven that when he's been out there and been healthy. So we have to do a good job with him of keeping him healthy. You know, that's hard to do when you go out there and you're playing, but we have to be smart with him throughout the week and in practice, and he's got to be in shape. So he's gotten in the best shape. He'll be out there on Saturday and have a package of plays and be going. So I'd like for it to see him just continue, and we get in the middle of the season and he's back to Jimmy Jones form, because you see it out there in practice now. He's still got that gear and he can still run.